and welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. We now know the 49ers are bringing back Jauan Jennings on the one-year restricted free agent tender offer, but they may have had other plans earlier in the offseason, and they may still have plans at wide receiver. Both involve the same wide receiver. That would be Tyler Boyd, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. According to Mark Kaboly of The Athletic, the Niners were one of a handful of teams that had preliminary interest in Boyd at the beginning of free agency, along with the Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins, Lions, and of course, Cincinnati Bengals. Now, who is Tyler Boyd? Well, he's got 8 years in the NFL, and he has consistently delivered. He has at least 600 yards every year except one, and he has a track record of being available for his team. He was on the field for at least 70% of the snaps in 6 seasons. Plus, he's a big receiver, 6'2". He perfectly fits that power slot role that, according to Niners Nation, Kyle Shanahan seeks in the offense. He could potentially add an interesting new dynamic to that wide receiver room. Now, he's not going to be cheap. That's the surprising thing, is that the 49ers, of course, know this, yet they still looked into it. Now that Jauan Jennings is back in the fold, is Boyd out of the picture? We'll have to wait and see. But he would be a really interesting option, and he would provide some depth in case Deebo Samuel or another one of the wide receivers went down, or in case, yes, I'm going to say it, they trade Brandon Ayuk. Also, let's give a little love to a friend of the show, Kay Adams. Kay is not jumping off the 49ers bandwagon just yet.
I'm not going to get fooled into thinking the Niners cannot win the Super Bowl this year. That's really it. But this Niners squad, I'm not buying it. They have the entire core group running it back. Eric Armstead, really the only big departure personnel-wise. That'll be a loss for sure. They add Leonard Floyd, though. Collins, Campbell, they strengthen the defense. Plus, they get Hufanga back, okay? He missed the entire second half of the season. You know, the Niners, they have Sorensen taken over at DC for Steve Wilks. I think they'll probably go pretty well because they're loaded. I know you can point to 2020 and say, well, what happened to Kyle Shanahan when they went 6-10 that year after that loss to Kansas City in the Super Bowl the year before in Miami? Well, Jimmy Garoppolo missed 10 games. Debo, Kittle, Mostert, they missed at least half the season as well. No one's going to have success with that many injuries. And it has nothing to do with a hangover or a mental, like, we can't get back there and do whatever. Listen, injuries can happen again. It is hard to get back. I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard for them. I'm just saying it's lazy to sort of take it as they're going to collapse just because they went to the Super Bowl. That's what happens after. This team somehow managed to have more stability, continuity, talent, and a truly incredible coach.
From your lips to God's ears, Kay. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Wednesday: Grant Cohn has assembled a little nightmare fuel. It is essentially a list of an all-time draft bust defense for the 49ers. If you are a glutton for punishment, click the link in the description of this episode. There are some scary, scary names on there. Some of them still hurt, but some of them hurt a little less now that we're a little more removed from when they were actually drafted. One thing to watch: I'm going to sit down with Mike Silver of the San Francisco Chronicle tomorrow. We're not going to do it live. I'll sit down with him. I'll tape it. I'll throw it up on the YouTube channel. I will make a podcast out of it. If you have any questions you want me to ask Mike, leave them in a comment on this video on YouTube or leave them in an Apple review on Apple Pods. I promise you I will look. I will get to as many as I can. One thing you may have missed: Aaron Rodgers got paid a little bit. Remember yesterday I told you about how Brock Purdy and Denominator Lenore got almost $800,000 from the NFL's performance-based pay program? Well, Aaron Rodgers is eligible for that program too, and he did play a whole 4 snaps last year before tearing his Achilles tendon. That earned him a grand total of $81.14. Congratulations, Aaron. You can go buy a tank of gas or something. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, and thank you. Click the bell so you know when we go live. which is every single weekday for you. Today, I will be live with Grant Cohn, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Grant said something about Christian McCaffrey that we're going to fight about. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.